Hello guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen, I want to talk about a story that dropped a couple of days ago out there in San Francisco, California. Shout out San Francisco, in which a young man was gunned down in the street, and they arrested, I guess, the person they did it. They show a person that they arrested. I guess that's the person that did it in this story. But besides the guy getting shot, what I want to focus on is the mother pictured here. Now, this woman right here, as you can see, is devastated. She arrived on the scene minutes after this happened. So they must live close by in this district where this happened, only to find her son laid out in the street, at age 27 years old. So, I mean, you can see the pain. I'm going to show you this video. I want you to pay close attention to what she says. And then we're going to come back and talk a little bit in commentary. I'm going to tell you some things you guys didn't know about the situation. Take a look.
The mother of the victim speaking just minutes after she says her son was killed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meeback.
And I'm Claudine Wong. Police say the call came in just before 5:30 tonight. Shots rang out at Turk and Mason Streets in the Tenderloin district. And despite first responders' best efforts, the victim died at the scene. A suspect was taken into custody.
New at 10, KTVU's Betty Yu joins us now from San Francisco with the story. Betty?
Mike, San Francisco police officers just cleared the scene in the last hour or so, but they're still working to figure out exactly what led up to the shooting that took place behind me. Tonight, the family members of the victim are understandably devastated as they wait for answers.
My baby over there laying on the ground. My baby graduated everything. He don't even want to check on me every day. Lily, I'm so sorry.
A mother's grief, raw and unimaginable. She stood just feet from the spot where her son, who she identified as 27-year-old Leotis, took his final breath.
I seen my baby 2 days ago, and I tried to tell him to stay inside. And when I fell asleep, he left out.
SFPD says officers responded to Turk and Mason Streets around 5:30 p.m. The victim's body was found outside Dia, an Indian restaurant. A worker told us over the phone that the victim was not a customer and that people often gather outside the establishment. Next door at a public parking lot, workers heard the deadly shot.
We were just taking some customers and taking some calls, and then we just heard this one shot all of a sudden.
Shortly after the shooting, witnesses say a suspect was seen running into the Warfield Theater nearby through a side entrance where crews were unloading equipment for a show. Police took someone into custody at the scene, but have not confirmed whether this person was the gunman. Leotis's family members were visibly emotional as he was placed into a police van. San Francisco Supervisor Bilal Mahmood praised SFPD for their quick response.
That shows that there's still work to do. We're not out of the woods yet, but we have the full support of the mayor, SFPD, and a new board of supervisors that is working to prioritize public safety.
For Leotis's family, the pain is just beginning.
He be out here. He did his own thing. He was a high school graduate. He have a daughter. She only 7 or 8. And he loved his mama. And he was a good kid. He was very smart. He knew everything about the Bible. So that's why I know God got my son.
And San Francisco police are also reviewing surveillance video from nearby buildings and businesses in this area. Mike?
And Betty, other family members there on scene, I know they didn't talk on camera, but off camera, were they able to tell you more specifically about the victim?
Well, I could tell from speaking to family members off camera that they really loved Leotis. This was a really tight-knit family, and they also added that they all lived together with his mother in Chinatown. Mike.
All right, Betty Yu with the very latest out of San Francisco tonight. Betty, thank you for that.
Okay, guys, you've seen it. Man at age 27 was a father. You know what I'm saying? Gunned down in the street, hanging out on the corner with a bunch of people, and shit happens. I had a cousin that was killed by hanging in front of a house that he wasn't supposed to be hanging in front of, that my mom had told him, hey, leave that house alone. You know, that ain't nothing good going on over there. And he was obliterated on the spot from a couple of bullets from a Desert Eagle 50 cal that wasn't even intended for him. I was upset about it. When me and my cousin was talking about it on the way to the funeral, I said, I wish I knew who did it, this and that, this and that. And he had to tell me to my face, he said, Steve, you need to calm down. He said, look at it for what it was. The streets is the streets and the game is the game. He was living the life. We all talked to him and tried to get him off the street. He gravitated to it and he knew it was in store, and it happened. And that right there changed my perspective on a lot of situations like this. This woman on TV, and trust me, I do feel bad for her. But she on TV, my baby knew the Bible. God got my baby. I told him not to go outside, but I went to sleep and he snuck out. Your son is 27 years old. You think about that. She's saying, oh, my baby's laid out. You looking at his body on the ground. And I'm going to say something about that in a second. You looking at him on the ground, this and that. Your baby wasn't innocent, ma'am. I'm looking up here. I Googled his name. In 2004, well, in 2020, right? Listen to this. In 2020, November 18th, he was a suspect in a double homicide out there in San Francisco. It says, San Francisco police have made an arrest and released new details, because this is when he got arrested. He the one who got caught in the slaying of a beloved high school sports coach who was shot and killed in a double homicide in Bayview Hunters Point. Lamar Williams, age 38, was killed on the night of November 18th, 2020, when two men entered his home on Bertha Lane between Harbor Road and Hudson Avenue. And a shootout ensued, according to police. Williams was one of the men previously identified as 30-year-old Damari Hampton, were gunned down. So that's the second victim. Were gunned down while the other man fled the scene. Police have now indicated for the first time that Hampton is considered a suspect in the case, despite being fatally shot. So he was a suspect. His boy died. And last week, officers arrested 23-year-old, at the time he was 23-year-old man, Leotis Martin of San Francisco, who investigators believe was the second suspect that fled the thing. It says, we believe, this is a statement by officers, we believe the suspects fired on the victim, said Officer Robert Ruka, a police spokesperson. And it says we are not able to provide details right now. Now, if you look up here, it's written, this is another article. What they said was he and another guy came into somebody's house. They came into the house, something happened, gunfire ensued. His boy got shot, he got shot. His boy got shot and the other guy got shot. He was the only one that made it out of here. They arrested him for it, so he was the last one left. But regardless of the whole situation, he wasn't no angel. Now, that was in 2020. Hey, he might have got his life straight, but the streets is the streets. Things you do, a lot of times, come back to haunt you. She said all of that stuff. Her baby knew the Bible. He this. I told him not to go out and all of that. He had a daughter. He finished high school. That means nothing. You're supposed to finish high school. But what you didn't hear is this. My baby know better. My baby shouldn't be hanging outside like that at 27 years old on the block. You should be productive. You didn't hear that. And that's the thing. You never hear that type of stuff. Everything she named was normal shit a 27-year-old man should be doing. Graduated high school, your father, this and that. And by no means am I bashing this woman because she's hurting. You know what I'm saying? She's hurting. But Where's the accountability? I'm not going to go hang out in the street. Even when I was 27 years old, I knew, look, I'm not going to be hanging out on no block somewhere. Especially if I got children. When I had children, all that shit changed. You know what I'm saying? And I knew I had other people depending on me, that I did not want to leave defenseless in this world. And that's why when I went to prison, I hated myself for getting myself in that position, because it bothered me. And I knew better. This guy won't learn from his lesson because he's gone. And it's unfortunate, but it's a reality. It's a reality. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I see the woman's hurt, man. You can see that that's real. But that's the reality of what's going on. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. The streets is the streets. It is what it is. It's like, you know, somebody that smokes or drinks and gets cirrhosis of the liver or gets cancer. You know what I'm saying? You know the chances of that happening are increased. And when it happens, it is what it is. One thing before I get out of here and end this. Media ain't shit. That lady out there looking at the dead body of a child, and you got a camera in her face. Then another thing is, it's a man holding her while she's up there grieving with a mic in her face. Why they ain't turn her or be like, yo, get her out of here? Like, or tell her, reporters, like, get out of her face, have some respect. It's the strangest thing. Anything to get a story. They put that camera in her face because that was prime time filming of the craziness. And it man, I'm done with it. I can't even talk. I'm stuttering up this mouth. You know what I'm talking about. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.